Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Joint and Point podcast. This channel is basically just like rants at this point because I'm really bad at getting people to come onto the podcast. That being said, I do have something to say on the current, few issues that I've been having regarding uh people and how we treat social interactions and things like that because it just seems to me that this divide and conquer bullshit that mass media and politicians keep pushing, it should be incredibly obvious at this point, but unfortunately it isn't to most people. And I'm hoping that this rant will kind of help point out those things, because I say because a lot. But I actually am very angry though. One of the things that I'm extremely pissed at is the idea that we have to different invent fears in order to keep us divided. You see this a lot, uh, mostly on the right, when it comes to politics or any social issue. They'll just invent, things to be afraid of for, the sake of, keeping people separate, because once you create an enemy, then once you create an imaginary enemy, there is no unity among people after that. And I wish that would stop. I wish that would stop, because in the end, when it comes to fighting for the basic human rights and things like that, there should be only one thing that keeps us united: our common humanity. That's what we all have in common. Fuck religion, fuck all these labels, fuck political, allegiance and all that stupid shit. Fuck country loyalty. We should all recognize each other, you know, based on our common humanity. And that concept, for some reason, is ridiculous to most people. And it shouldn't. It shouldn't be ridiculous. Because at the end of the day, why do we keep ourselves divided? Does it really matter that much about skin color, or what beliefs people have, or what country of origin you're from? All that shit is incredibly superficial, and it should mean nothing. Oh, you're from this speck of land? Oh, you believe the universe came from this? So fucking what? At the end of the day, we all bleed the same color, and we all die, and we all go in the ground. So why shouldn't we strive to try and unite by our common humanity? Tell you why. Because it's not profitable. That's right. It's not profitable to be human. Let me say this to all the people that think it's a good thing to extort, people for money. Human beings are not for sale. Now that I've gotten your attention, let me repeat what I just said. Human beings are not for sale. America is really fucking bad at that concept, because we have starving African children picking our Hershey's chocolate. Nestle recently had a thing go before the Supreme Court where they were doing, child slave labor and stuff. Africa, again, by the way. Africa is just the favorite of every country to extort labor from, huh? And The response from the Supreme Court is just, it's not happening on our soil, so it ain't no skin off my nose. That should be an outrage. If you were actually against the idea of slavery, that should be fucking unacceptable. Human labor should not be reduced to, just so to where it's so cheap that it's treated like some fucking condom that you can just use a couple times and then throw in the fucking trash, okay? Now I sound optimistic about human beings because as human beings, we make a lot of mistakes. We wage war over stupid shit like money and oil. But at the end, it just, that kind of shit means nothing. Money is usually the catalyst for all this shit, by the way. Money. And I guess what I'm trying to advocate for is the destruction of America's current system because it doesn't benefit anybody except a handful of people. Remember the US Constitution, that thing that everybody fucking waves around? But everybody seems to forget the first three words at the top. We, the people. The people. Remember that? Not we, the money. Not we, the company. Not we, the service. Not we, the LLC. Not we, the cause. We, the people. And until we stop having all this superficial shit divide us, we're constantly going to be fucked in the ass by a broken dildo that has an exposed wire, which would make it unpleasant and unsatisfying at the same time. Until we stop taking it in the ass like that, we're going to exist in this shithole. Which is not just a blight to American citizens, by the way. It's a blight to the rest of the planet. Let's not forget that America fucking drone strikes the shit out of people, which has a 90% mortality rate, meaning that we kill the wrong people all the time. And for what? War on terror. That's bullshit. We all know it's bullshit. And yet nobody cares. We just sit there and nod. Yeah, war on terror. Yeah, because the brown people, they have they have beliefs that makes them evil. Their beliefs makes them evil. What beliefs would those be? Now, I understand that in a lot of, countries, they have laws that subjugate innocent people and kids to horrific acts. And those should definitely be destroyed. But it should be destroyed because it causes harm to innocent people. Believing in something, even if you disagree with it, should not cause harm to people. And lately, a lot of people have been using faith to justify abhorrent, absolute atrocities. Atrocities where if we were truly united as human beings, we would not stand for it. It should not be allowed. The destruction of innocent people should not be allowed. You can use whatever justification you want. Oh, my book says this, therefore, blah. Or, our government says this, therefore, blah. None of that should justify harming anyone. Let's look at that for a second. What is harming somebody? Is it just acts of physical violence against people? Yeah, I mean, it is that. But what makes an idea harmful or a belief? When does that become harmful? It becomes harmful when people are living in absolute destitute and misery. When you based an entire society on just any form of supremacy, whether it's religious supremacy or government supremacy or military or political shit or even a cause that you are incredibly passionate about. Those ideas should not cause harm to people. You can be as religious as you want. You can fight for whatever cause you want. But those ideas and those beliefs should always stay in the realm of, you know, diplomacy. It should never be something that you should force market to people. It should never be something that you, uh, use fear tactics for. It shouldn't be any of that shit. And yet it's done all the time. America, especially. America is a really big propaganda machine, huh? A lot of people don't even notice it too. They just take it as, well, it's the news. Why would they, lie to us? Because they want you to play for a team. Now, don't get me wrong. There's nothing being, wrong with, being loyal to a cause or whatever. But at the end of the day, if you want to progress as a society, then we need to get rid of all this superficial bullshit. Okay? Stop, using religion as a spearhead for running governments. Stop using currency as a mean for running governments. It should be based on human beings and what human beings are capable of. And I think it's bullshit that a person's value is tied to all this superficial shit. A human being should be above the value of money. A human being should be above the idea of religion. A human being should be above, you know, migrant status. Because one day they're going to knock on your door and ask you to die for them. And what would you die for? Would you die for a system? Would you die for faith? Would you die for money? Or would you die resisting oppression? I guess what I'm really asking is, what would you die for? Because as it stands, It seems like China and Russia are trying to find some way to unify themselves, which is going to put America on edge, by the way. And a lot of these politicians are, you know, flapping their gums at the idea of how we should just go to World War III because one of our drones was destroyed by a Russian fighter jet. And there's a lot of people that want to escalate that, which is a very bad idea. It's a bad idea because it doesn't matter who instigated the fight or whatever, or who shot the drone down, or whose space was occupied. Until we have a system to where we don't have to sacrifice innocent people for the sake of corporate interests, which most countries do. Don't pretend like they don't, because they completely do. Just because they're like, oh, we have a free society. Yeah, whatever. America uses slave labor in order to get resources, and then we bomb innocent people. And all for what? For money. When are we going to admit that money is toxic? It is toxic. It's kind of like the idea of magic, you know, which I don't believe in, but the concept, bringing whatever you want into reality. It's kind of like that, except it's corruptible. It corrupts your humanity. When people have an excess amount of it, they leave all trace of their humanity behind, you know? And people like Jeff Bezos and Tucker Carlson and the Wilkes brothers and all them, they have no humanity in them. They would throw the working class people against the wall and gun them down if it would save them a couple bucks. Think of the Flint water crisis. An entire city poisoned to save a few dollars. And it brought no value to any person at all, except for the person that made the money. People didn't get any money. They just got water that poisoned them. So I ask you, when are you going to see through all these fucking social causes, all these fucking fake ass reactionary politicians? You know, when are we going to stop listening to these fucking assholes and start uniting as a people in order to further, and better ourselves? Because the system that we currently have is unacceptable. It's unacceptable, you know? Like, what exactly is the good thing about the system we have? Innocent people die, slave labor is legal, and millions suffer. Like, tens of millions suffer. And yet people will defend the shit out of it. Why? What benefit does it have for you? Nothing. It has no benefit whatsoever. should be valued for their humanity. They should not be valued based on their money. They should not be valued because of their beliefs. They should not be valued because of the region they come from, or their skin color, or their disorder, or what the fuck ever. They should be valued for their common humanity that we all share. Because if we don't, the entire society that we live in will be destroyed. And for what? For money. In the end, it will always be for money. And what value does money hold anyway? Yeah, it has the ability to purchase resources. It allows you to live a luxurious lifestyle. But what did they do to earn that money? Did Jeff Bezos actually work hundreds of hours in order to get the $282 billion that he's worth? Nah. Nah, he didn't. He got a grant, you know? He got a head start in life. Unlike the rest of us, you know, scan shit at a cash register, spend endless years just clocking in, clocking out. What life is that? Remember the three mantras that are drilled into our fucking heads as kids? Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Let's examine those real quick, shall we? The first one, life. What life do you have? We spend 95% of it always in servitude to some corporate asshole. So we don't got that. Liberty. Well, we definitely don't have that. The media is always constantly telling us that we need to fear this group of people and this other group of people is evil. And if you don't agree with us, then you're the enemy. There's also no liberty when it comes to things like affording healthcare. We should have the right to live at least. How about not paying hundreds of thousands of dollars for necessary fucking surgery or or chemotherapy and stuff? Imagine not paying hundreds of thousands of dollars for that. You want to charge people a bunch of money for medical procedures? Save it for something like boob jobs or fucking butt lifts or dick extension surgery, okay? That you can charge $10,000 for because nobody needs that. But when you deny people health care because of some stupid bullshit like, oh, I want to get tested for autism. Well, we're not going to cover the test because you're over the age of 21. So? What the fuck does age do? It means nothing. Oh, or you got the wrong insurance. So they're not in the network. Imagine denying somebody treatment to save their life because they didn't have the right insurance. Let me say that one more time. The right insurance. You get denied the right to live because you didn't have the right fucking insurance. That's dog shit. No, it's worse than dog shit. It's worm shit that has been feeding on dog shit. And then the third one, pursuit of happiness. Well, let's face it. Depression is at an all-time high in America. You know why? Because there is no pursuit of happiness. There's nothing to be happy about. You know why so many people fucking do drugs? Because that's how they get their pursuit of happiness. That's their pursuit, is because they have to be high out of their fucking minds in order to pretend to be fucking happy. That's how bad it is. And don't get me wrong, I love drugs. Drugs are awesome. But wouldn't it be great if we had a system where people didn't need drugs to be happy? Like, you should be able to still do drugs. Like, even if you are happy, you should be able to, smoke weed and do shrooms or whatever. But a lot of people feel like they need it because they're miserable. And who could blame them? Especially, minority groups and shit. Or people with disabilities. So life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness doesn't seem to be a part of the American dream anymore. The new mantras should probably be work, retire, and die. Which even the retirement part is questionable, because the idea of somebody retiring from their labor, is a big no-no for the establishment. They hate the idea of somebody not working, even if they're like 10,000 years old and their fucking legs don't work, and they're just shuffling through the fucking store, putting stuff on the shelf, and then at like 85, they're like, oh, finally, I get to go home and enjoy myself. And then a week later, they're fucking dead. Because the life expectancy in this country, the age life expectancy, can't speak, is like 75 or 73 or some stupid shit like that. And they want to raise the retirement age to higher than that, so that you're basically working until you're dead. Is that an acceptable system? Nope. Nope, absolutely not. You should be able to have life, liberty, and a pursuit of happiness, but not at the cost of labor, or the cost of your humanity. This hierarchy shit needs to stop. Because at the end of the day, nobody is better than anybody. You can pretend all you want that you are, but you're not. We should all aspire to have equality based on our common humanity. But that's like futurism stuff, right? That's not going to happen in our lifetime, because, you know, we have everybody's too scared, right? Because it is too big. You know, Imagine having a dream where the current system that America has perishes and nobody is bombed anymore for money. American soldiers get to come home safe and not have PTSD, and those that do get access to an endless, you know, system of healthcare that doesn't constantly fuck them in the ass. We need to do better. But it's not going to get any better until we actually recognize what we have in common, which is our humanity. We need to stop separating ourselves from each other and work towards a common goal, one in which everybody can live together in peace, one where people don't die because they worked too much and they couldn't afford their health care, one where people aren't forced into fighting a war that nobody asked for. Nobody wants to fucking go to war for nothing. I don't know what else to say. Let's do better, please.